Warning, if you are the person or member of the community I'm about to discuss in this video, then this is a trigger warning for you because you are going to get offended because I am out here trying to offend you. Thank you. Hey guys, Foxen here and welcome back to another brand new and fantastic video, and today you're going to be giving my rant on HANZO mains, on why I hate HANZO mains so damn much. And if you're a HANZO main, you are going to get offended because I am out here to purposefully offend you. And so, let's jump right into it. The first thing I hate about HANZO mains is just why people like HANZO so much. I mean, there is an appeal to him. He is kind of a badass. I mean, he just... The storyline behind HANZO and the way Blizzard designed him was pretty good. They gave him a really good storyline. How he murdered his brother Genji and all this stuff about that, about forgiveness. Kind of reminds me of another character, which I'll mention later. But the one thing I don't understand about people is that there is a stereotype in which a lot of people are just drawn to like Asian culture, specifically Japanese culture. And what I don't understand is that even if something is apparently bad, as long as it's Asian, mostly Japanese, people are just bound to get on the bandwagon and just say it's good because it's Asian. And it's cool to like Asian culture. I'm Asian myself, I'm Japanese actually, and I like a lot of Japanese culture. I'm not full Japanese, but what I'm trying to say is that if you're not Japanese or Asian and you like Asian culture, that's cool, that's totally fine, I don't care what you like. But I just noticed that a lot of people who play video games specifically, or anything, they're just drawn so much to Asian culture that it doesn't matter if what they're looking at is good or bad, they're just gonna say it's good because it's Asian. And that's what I just don't understand that. I mean, HANZO is good if it's put in the right hands, but most people who play HANZO just suck. And that's my second point. The technicalities of why I hate HANZO mains. Most of them just suck. I'm gonna say that right now. You know, going back to the first point, I've actually experienced that firsthand. You know, I was playing Overwatch once, and this is a true story. I was playing Overwatch once, we were playing payload, and we were on the attacking team, and literally, I am not bullshitting you, every single 5 other people except me locked in HANZO. And I am seriously not bullshitting you, the whole game was just spent on all 5 other people just arguing why they should be HANZO and why everyone should just switch to something else. I'm not kidding you, we literally got nowhere to the point. No one killed anyone except me. I was just trying to say, hey, let's get the payload then, you know, let's just win this game. And everyone's like, fuck you, I want to play HANZO and this little bitch ain't switching. And that's first of all, why are you playing HANZO when you're attacking? What is up with that? That's just a big no. Like, why? Why? I don't understand. And that's also that's also the problem I have with HANZO mains, that they're just so dedicated onto the bandwagon. They are not willing to let go of that spot to play HANZO. If there's another person that's playing HANZO, they are not gonna switch. That's my first problem with HANZO mains. Second one with technicalities, this is that I feel that there's a lot of things. No, I'm gonna go to another point first. Let's go to another point first. This is unscripted, by the way. Let's go to another point first. The first point I want to bring up is that most HANZO mains just suck. That's the short and sweet of the video. That's the main reason why HANZO mains just suck. Most of them suck. You know, I ran into a HANZO main once and we were playing against him, and he literally almost didn't miss a single shot. He was pretty damn good. He had very good aim. And there's no hacking in Overwatch, so I can't even. There's no way, but he was pretty good. He only missed like what, a couple shots, like maybe 10 out of like the 1,000 he shot. And he was pretty good. He got mostly headshots. He got some body shots, but I mean, he still eliminated us with his E, and it was pretty good. I give him props after that game because you know what? It takes a good amount of skill to play HANZO because he is very difficult because you gotta watch for a lot of things, such as his ballistic bullets. And if you don't know what ballistic means, it just means that there's travel time, and the thing with bow and arrows, which is the weapon HANZO uses, if you don't know, is that arrows are susceptible to falling down over a course period of time. when a projectile fires slower than others, well, all projectiles are bound to fall down to the ground. Sometimes they're shot in they're shot in a parallel direction akin from the ground. All projectiles are bound to fall to the ground because gravity, bitch. And Hanzo bullets arrows are more susceptible to falling down because of the very short speed that they fire at. Now, it's not that short. I mean, there's a couple things that are slower, like Farah rockets, but they're still pretty short for sniper bullets, and that's just the problem. That's the problem with Hanzo, is that it's a good design. I like the whole bow and arrow thing, but it just takes a lot of skill to play Hanzo. And most people don't even take into account the fact that his bullets are ballistic and not static. His bullets are ballistic, and that's why people don't even pay attention to that. And that's why Hanzo mains suck. They just completely ignore that fact of the fact that his bullets have something called travel time. And they just completely miss, and they're just off fire, and I can't get on board with that. Most Hanzo mains just suck. But yeah. Speaking of which, I'm just gonna get this out of the point. I'm gonna get this out of the way now. If you're good with Hanzo, like you miss only like 5 or 10 shots the entire game, or if you're just above average, pretty much a little bit more than above average, I have no problem with you playing Hanzo, because you obviously did your homework and you're good with him. You studied him and you're pretty damn good with him. That you're actually beneficial to the team. In that case, I have no problem with you being a Hanzo main. In fact, I probably want you, because in the right hands, Hanzo can be a pretty big badass for the entire team. In that case, I have no problem. The problem I have is that most of them don't even know what projectiles are. No one knows what projectile speed is. No one knows that bullets, like Hanzo bows, are susceptible to falling down over a long period of time, a short period of time actually. And that's why I have that technical problem with Hanzo mains. The third point I want to bring up is just the overall character design of Hanzo. Not storyline, I'm talking about more technicality, but more of the design. The problem I have with Hanzo just as a character in terms of gameplay is just that there's other heroes that can do almost everything he can, but better. Let's take basic attacks into example. We talked about how Hanzo bullets or arrows. I keep saying bullets. Hanzo arrows are ballistic. They're susceptible to falling down over a short period of time, and they fire slower. Now, who does it better than Hanzo? Widowmaker. They're both snipers. Actually, I don't even consider Hanzo as a sniper. I consider him as a mid-range attacker. But so Widowmaker has literally infinite range. You could be all the way across the map, and that bitch will just fire bullets, and it'll be precise as accurate. It will shoot where your cursor is, where your crosshairs are. There's no fall damage. They fire bullets, go to where they need to, almost as instantly as you click the left mouse button. They're static bullets, which means that they are not they're the opposite of ballistic. Go look them up if you don't know what those words mean. But the point is that Widowmaker does basic attacks much better than Hanzo. It's much more precise and infinite range. You can be as far as you want, close as you want, and it's still gonna do the damage. Now, the one thing that Hanzo, I believe, has an advantage over Widowmaker is the damage multiplier in terms of headshots. Hanzo, I believe, does double the damage, and Widowmaker only does about 3/4. I don't know the science, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's the only advantage I see in playing Widowmaker. So if you have awesome aim, and you can get pretty much almost headshots only, then yeah, play Hanzo, I guess, because you'll do a shit ton of damage. But no, that's almost unrealistic, and I see a better advantage at playing Widowmaker because she has more of a damage multiplier and does more damage on body shots, which is the most likely thing that you're gonna hit than Hanzo. That's just the downside of Hanzo, is that there's not really much good damage that's gonna come out of him if you just keep getting body shots. Hanzo is has to be very precise, and even then you can't even be precise because ballistics are taken into account. That's why I think Widowmaker does basic attacks better than him. Now you have you have Hanzo's left shift ability, which I'm gonna say right now can be almost easily outdone by Widowmaker's ult. Now Hanzo, when he shoots his left shift, I don't know what the cooldown is. I think it's 10 seconds, but it only lasts for 10 seconds, and even then it's only just a small area. With Widowmaker, if you're a decent Widowmaker and you're averaging about 50% scoped accuracy or 40, somewhere around there, you'll have your ult around every 3 to 4 minutes, and that's perfectly fine. And it's Widowmaker's ults last for half a minute, which if you're gonna be in a clutch moment where you just need to eliminate a team, if you're on a defensive team where the enemy team's on the payload and you just need to know where everyone is, a Widowmaker ult can save the team and can save the game, and you can pretty much win whenever it's in clutch. When you're in clutch mode, Hanzo's left shifts just can't do that. It's just fairly small. It's usually utilized for just looking for one person or two people if they're in the same room. There's more utility out of a Widowmaker ult because, for one, you can see everywhere. It's not the short distance that Hanzo's left shift can do. Widowmaker can see everywhere, and it's for the entire team too. And I know that Hanzo's left shift is for the entire team too, but it's just a small area. But Widowmaker gets everything. And that's the utility I see out of Widowmaker's ults. That's better than Hanzo's ult. It's just better. I mean, you might not get it as quick as a Hanzo left shift, but it's just the utility you get out of it is better, and it lasts a lot longer, 20 seconds more. I believe that's the size, but yeah, that's the thing. And with Hanzo's E, it's pretty good, but the problem with it is that it's so unpredictable. There's two things wrong with it. It's just unpredictable, and Hanzo mains, the bad ones, will just shoot that E no matter where it is. They're not going to shoot it in a confined room where there's a bunch of people in it. They're going to shoot it out in the middle of nowhere where it's pretty open and there's nowhere for the ballistics to bounce off of. A good Hanzo main will shoot his E in a room where it's completely confined and there's a lot of walls for them to bounce off of. The bad ones, which is the majority, 95% of Hanzo mains, will shoot it out in the middle of nowhere, where there's nowhere for the bullets to bounce off of. I don't understand that, and I feel that there's one ability that I can think of at the top of my head right now that can do it better, which is a Reaper ult. I mean, granted, you're not gonna get it as fast as a Hanzo E, but I think it just does it better because it just does it quicker and it lasts for quite a while longer. That lasts for 5 seconds, I believe. Yeah, a Reaper will last for 5 seconds, whereas a Hanzo E will only last for the bullets bouncing up to 3 times. And even then, you know where the Reaper ult is gonna hit. It's all around you. Hanzo ult, you have no idea where those bullets are gonna bounce off of. Now moving on to Hanzo's ult, I'm gonna admit it's okay. Not a lot of people can compare it to a Hanzo ult, but the thing is that there's only one use for it pretty much that I can think of right now, and that's for getting people off the payload. You know, you're pretty much not gonna kill anyone with the Hanzo ult if no one's grouped up and they can't move anywhere, like if they're in a confined room. If they're just on a payload, you're pretty much not gonna kill anyone with it. But it's pretty good for getting people off the payload because they can't stand there or they're just gonna die. It creates a boundary between one half of the map and one other half of the map. And that's a pretty good utility out of Hanzo, and I gotta give Hanzo props for that. It's a pretty good ult, but there's not a lot of other ults or abilities that can do that better, separating enemies from the payload. That's just the problem I see with, those are the problems I see with Hanzo, is that in any hero, if it's not in the complete package of one hero, almost any hero can do what Hanzo does, but better. So I just don't see the point in just using Hanzo like in competitive play or maybe even in casual play. I mean, if you're Hanzo and you just want to play Hanzo just for a bit, then that's cool. I just have a problem with Hanzo mains because, like I discussed, one, they're not going to give up their spot on playing Hanzo. They're so dedicated 2, what was the second point I brought up? Fuck, I forgot. Fuck, I forgot. Anyways, number 2 is that there's just Hanzo's gameplay design. Almost any hero can do Hanzo better. And 3 is just ballistics. That's the problem, is that people just aren't good with him. That's the point. People just usually aren't good with him. But like I said, if you're good with Hanzo and you did your homework and you're just pretty good with him, then I don't mind you being a Hanzo main. You obviously can be beneficial to the team. The problem with Hanzo mains is that most of them just suck. And that's the big problem. And combined with all the other problems that I just discussed, all 3, that's why I just hate Hanzo mains so much. But hey, at least there's one other type of person that I hate more than Hanzo mains. It's Yasuo mains. Yasuo mains just suck. Bye!